delegate affidavits have to be included in those folders with their presidential preference. And that cannot change.
Correct.
And that's B.
Is that C also? You include that person's number in C as well?
Yes.
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 Yes. I just wanted to look and make sure I was answering the question right. Do people feel pretty good about this? I think if you've got your tally person and they just play around with this with different numbers, it works pretty well.
Just to make sure my people brain understand. So if we get in column H, if there's a value that's less than 0.5, that
column A?
Column H.
Oh, okay.
That candidate preference doesn't include the delegate, and that if there was a delegate left over, it would go toward.
No, it would go toward that preference. Yeah. But we've only got 3, remember.
Right.
So it's going to make things a lot simpler. Yeah, sure.
Does the tally person, as appointed by the chair, actually have to be a registered voter? Like, I could think of some younger, like high school kids, this would be a good way to get it.
Yes, they could
They
be.
could be a tally person.
Yes.
They could probably do the math better than me anyway.
That's right.
For second grade.
Yes.
And
As long as you've got somebody there who's
overseeing it.
overseeing them, yes.
Can you confirm the column B and column C, when you add the surrogate ballots that are in the folder?
Yes.
I could see where they'd be in column B, but why are they included in the total for column C?
Because they have
They're not
received
there.
that affidavit
Yeah.
with, under those specific circumstances, to be granted as an attendee. That's why we say it's not a proxy vote. It is an affidavit certifying that you've met these qualifications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you would say just a word or two more about the caucus leader's responsibility to these surrogates. So there may be a surrogate who wants to be a delegate as well. What is our responsibility in that case?
They would have to have filled out that declaration of candidacy, and then you would read it.
And then they might or might not get elected by
That's
those people
correct.
in that group.
And really, it's the state's those surrogate affidavits are the state's responsibility. There may be challenges about those affidavits because there's a lot of stuff going on about those affidavits, about people saying, well, I have to work. And that's why I'm being really clear with people. Religious, military, or working has to be during those hours that the caucus is happening. Somebody called and said they're going to their daughters for Easter and traveling. No, that doesn't count. You have to be in religious observation at that point. It doesn't count that you're traveling. Or you're on vacation. That doesn't count. It's only if you're missing your religious observation.
So about what time do you think the delegates will be elected in the course of the
It
morning?
depends on how many people you've got wanting to run.
Okay.
If your precinct is pulling teeth trying to get somebody to run for delegate, you might be out of there soon. If you're in a precinct that half of the precinct wants to run, and I'm not kidding you, that there are places that there's going to be a lot of people who think they're going to make it all the way to the national convention. So please tell people there's other stuff going on that it's important for you to be there and work on, not just being a delegate. Because the reality is, we may end up with 160 delegates for the whole state. And King County is going to have twice as many people going to their county conventions as we are. Maybe not twice. We did really good turnout, but they're probably going to be maybe two-thirds.
So is it really important, I know it's really important, but what if somebody comes, they just want to sign in, give their presidential preference and then go?
Okay, so we do not lock the doors, but we want to encourage people to stay till 10:30.
Okay.
That's a half hour. We cannot keep them there. We are asking you to say, please stay for the reading of the rules and for your caucus to break in, for your precinct to break into sub-caucuses. Then you're free to leave. But we can't prevent people from leaving. But this is not a primary. It's not just a vote, it's a participation. So that's what we want to encourage people to do. Yeah, Bob.
Does the caucus leader have responsibility to tell each of these three groups that if you don't have people there who want to go on to the county, then you will not get the number
Yeah.
counted for your preference?
Right,
So
yes.
if there could be 10 people sign in and leave, there's nobody there to go to the
That's
county.
right,
All
that's
those
right.
10
They
people
will lose
just
those.
know.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Tell them.
And, you know, I feel like, you know, we're doing a lot of work to try and get people trained and knowledgeable. But people have to do some work themselves to participate, you know? I really feel like they're...
Could you just say that again, what Bob said? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bob was saying if they just sign in and leave, they're going to, and nobody wants to be a delegate, they're going to lose their delegates. And yes, that's true, and he's wondering about telling people about that. But if they just come in, drop their form off, and leave, how can you tell them about that? Hopefully, your people at your registration desk can say, we can't stop you from leaving. Please stay till at least 10:30. And hear the rules and hear how delegates are allocated. But after that, you can't do anything. Yeah.
Going back in time to the very beginning of this, when people
Right.
come through the doors and they sign in for their precinct, is this all on an honor system? Does anybody ever have to identify themselves or anything? How does this work?
No, it's honor system. We don't check IDs. But all of those people that sign in will be checked to make sure that they're a registered voter
At the state level.
at the state. Everything will be verified at the state level.
So, but as far
But
as our
as far
jobs
as
then,
who they are, no, we're not.
so,
It's total honor
just-
system.
okay.
Yeah. Gene?
In case someone doesn't make, that they get excluded at the state level, so there are no private ballots. Unlike in the primary, in this, it's all over.
Well, the ballots are secret. I mean, you write down your preferences, they're not going to be able to see who voted for them because your name is not on that ballot. You don't have to sign
Well,
your
if
ballot.
somebody was excluded, then there's going to be something to...
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm
Okay,
following.
let's say a Canadian votes,
Right,
and they find that out at the state
and
level.
usually, and there will be some things like that will happen, but that usually doesn't, there's not that many that it affects the delegate count. You know, it would have to be a considerable number of people that have signed in that shouldn't sign in to affect the count, the delegate allocated process. We had that happen before, but it didn't affect the math, it didn't do anything. So, you know, we are hoping people will go online, call the auditor's office, call our office if they don't know their precinct number. But because I'm telling you, we're going to have maps, but those maps are really hard to read when you're getting down to individual streets. You know, so the fact that we've got access, at least in the schools, to Wi-Fi, we can help somebody look it up. So that's going to be helpful.
Has there been any discussion down at the office that the way this primary is going, Washington may be a very significant Democratic caucus state this year? We might see a lot of people.
Sure, we're going to see a lot of people. Yeah. Yes, Naomi. Yes, 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 the site renewal. That's right. The help desk. That's right. Yeah. We won't have it at every site, but I think that we'll have it enough places that it will be helpful.